Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Ted Ings with Angie Pascotto. We're here with Bryan Geoffrey. He's the founder and CEO of Alliance Dealer Solutions. You're starting to see a lot of Alliance on the Fixed Ops Roundtable and their hospitality services. Bryan, welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. Angie, you and I have been talking about this importance of hospitality for some time now, and I know you've seen the importance of it over the years as well.
We have, Ted. Yes, I think hospitality has such a place in every business now, but especially automotive. So it's refreshing to see automotive embrace hospitality as they have, and we have great partners at Alliance to help us do so.
Bryan, I heard you have a very fascinating story with how this all came about because I wanted to ask you how this started, and maybe if you don't mind, share some of that with us today.
I'd love to, Ted. It's really kind of a fun adventure. This is our 31st lap around the sun in business. So we started in 1995. So it's been a while. It's been a long while, and we've had a number of
an overnight success.
overnight success. It flourished from day one, and it was a real adventure. I was in high school, and I was parking cars in the evenings and bagging groceries during the day. And I like to work. I like to do all sorts of different things, even when I was young. And I remember thinking, like, we can do this better. We can definitely do this better. And so in 95, we started what was then called Universal Valet. And it's funny because the moniker on the card is actually very much the same as it was in day one as it is today, which is for your first and last impressions. And it's fascinating that after all those decades, 90s, 2000s, 10s, now in the 20s, the same driving principle applies, creating these positive first and last impressions for people, no matter what the business vertical is. So we discovered in 2008, that dealerships were really lacking this. So we'll come back to that in just a sec. But essentially, I was in high school, and there was a business guy that also came out of automotive, and he was with supplier to Chrysler. Anyway, he came and he taught as the assistant teacher our merchandising and marketing class my senior year. And he said, make a fake business plan, and gave us sort of the guide, and we write it all up. And that's how Universal Valet was born. And that was January or February of my senior year in high school. We got insured in March and started our first private events in March and April and May. Had our first little account, a little restaurant on the corner, tiny little restaurant in July. And, slowly, but surely adding different verticals, banquet halls, country clubs, more restaurants, nightclubs, office buildings. Wow. Then we went into hospitals, and that really got us a chance, our feet wet in guest experience, in that case, patient experience, how to create a very structured and uniform approach to welcoming people to what can be a difficult situation, getting your car fixed. There's a lot of similarities there in terms of the care, because people are sensitive about this stuff. At the hospitals, you got a small percentage that are having babies. They were the easy ones because they were happy. Small percentage of the dealers that love to get their free coffee. They're also very happy. So as we continued on, we took the company down to Florida. We got into high-rise condominium, which was a whole nother adventure. And in that also time really added a lot of mixed-use development and parking lot management. So really had touched on all these different verticals. And in February of 2008, we had met with Mercedes-Benz of Miami. And just arbitrarily, I had a friend that knew the GM. He was dropping off some tickets to the Dolphins, and said, "Oh, what do you do?" I said, "Oh, I'm in the valet business." He said, "Oh, these guys, I need to get somebody else out here." I go, "What do you mean? You have a valet company? What are they doing?" They park the cars, and they take care of service, and they wash the cars. And I'm like, "All right, let's give it a try." So essentially, I think it was February 13th, 2008. My right hand in the company, who had been with me since 2006, he'll be celebrating 20 years this July with us. Wow. I'm sure you'll get to meet Mike at some point. He and I were on the service drive at Mercedes-Benz of Miami. And by about 10 a.m., figuring out that we had no idea how we even got to 10 a.m. because we had no idea what we were doing. But we recognized, wow, there's nobody doing this. Mike came from Disney. So over the course of the next 3 years, Mike called up some of his old contacts from Disney and Lowe's, and we brought on the front desk manager of the year from Ritz-Carlton. And we built these hospitality programs and these directives that are really heavily based on greeters in the service drive, making sure that the wait times are reduced, making sure that people, when you pull up and it's not real clear where to go, well, we
Sure.
want to get rid of that. We want them to know where to go. We want them to feel welcomed by introducing the greeter. Get the greeter to walk them in the door, show them this is where the coffee is. One extra step. Some places we would keep a list, and so after 5-7 minutes, if they were still sitting there, we'd go, goose one of the writers. And some of the stores would say after 12 minutes, they wanted the service director to know somebody had been waiting. So again, it was such an adventure. That went on. We fast forward to 2018.
Okay.
We were in about 100 stores at that point. We'd actually broken Universal up into a number of different subcategories and sold it off in pieces, realizing that our future was going to be in the dealership world. And yeah, it was really interesting that became our focus. And had 1,100 employees. We were running 13 states. Pretty big operation. And our biggest competitor decided that they wanted to buy us. So in 18, they came in and put a great deal together for all of us. And a year later, they decided there were some parts of it that they wanted to undo, which was amazing because I don't think lightning ever strikes like this, where you get to say, hey, we get to go back to some of our core markets, and everybody's non-compete, but mine was released. So we put the band back together and we started Alliance Service Group.
Wow.
Now Alliance Dealer Solutions. So I hope that wasn't too long, but that's how we got here.
Bryan, it's an incredible story.
It's really a funny, twist of fate in many, many ways.
I think our audience loves stories like that, Bryan, and it speaks volumes about you and about the company and the fact that others have thought so highly of the company. Take us to today. Tell us a little bit about what areas you serve at Alliance, because I see you now all over social media. I see the company everywhere. How many dealers? How many people? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So when we started Alliance, the focus was a little bit different. Certainly when you're a little bit younger and a little bit more energy, it's how many stores can we get? How many dots can we put on the map? And in this iteration of the company, we decided that where are we particularly valuable and meaningful to our clients? Where can we spend a lot of time getting to know the people whose names are on the building, and offering very much boutique solutions, much more catered solutions to what they do at each store. So what we found today, we're in about 50 stores operating in 5 states, maybe 550 employees at this point. And it's not a race for us. It's really not a how big can we get. It's really how many first and last impressions can we successfully contribute to. In our previous, just when we were talking, Ted, you said about people that work for us. And a big thing that actually doesn't sit well when I hear that. So it's really people that work with us. Mm-hmm. Nobody works for us. We all work together. And I think that is what has kept it really fun and interesting over the years, is that, the hierarchy exists, but I don't really love it. I really, we can all jump in and we can help each other, and it creates a really neat growth opportunity for our people because they feel like they're a part of something. And, hence my core team, many of you guys have met, they've been around a while. Mm-hmm. And I don't think they're leaving. They seem pretty happy with us. So that's what's made it really, really rewarding, is that you can see the positive impact. Seeing some of our leaders have their first kids and buy their first homes, and, getting married and watching their lives go it's been really special.
That is very special and unique. And I think that that's something that's a testament to what you've built. So that's incredible.
What we've built.
Yes. What you all have built. Yes. So with hospitality in mind, you talk a lot about that first impression and that last impression and the importance of those. But I imagine that in itself creates a really amazing experience for the in between too. So I can predict that you have a very high impact on customer service and CSI. Can you speak to that a little bit about what Alliance Dealers Solutions is able to do for CSI?
Absolutely. The first thing we do is figure out what is the core area for improvement with our clients. We figure out exactly where their sweet spot is in terms of what they're trying to accomplish. Some people struggle with, as we talked about before, that entrance, congestion and how to get them in the right spot. Some people struggle with wait times inside. So the first thing is really diving into where we can make those improvements. But obviously it starts with a great greeting, a very, very warm welcome with super professionally uniformed people that look the part and that are engaged in what they're doing and understanding that they are part of that first last impression. That's the key. It also helps to teach them what CSI is. We decided in about 2014 to do a survey, And we asked a bunch of our managers. At that time, there was maybe 80, 85 managers.
Well,
And we asked them, sort of in passing, CSI, CSI. They thought we were talking about a TV show. So we recognized we had a little work to do there, and made sure that we brought everybody up to speed that this is actually how you're being scored and how you're graded. Did we get to people quickly? Did you look the part? Did their car come back cleaner than it arrived? All these core measurements. Then you put that with the KPIs in terms of what the dealer's trying to improve upon. So we have a target board at every single location. And on that target board, we're measuring in that month's period what the client's KPIs are. So very, very important that we're in alignment with them.
Wow. Yeah.
and you have that visually as well, Bryan.
Visually.
Tell us a little bit more. What is the feedback from some of your clients? Because obviously, expectations on the part of consumers are changing, and the part of dealers. Dealers are very good and very innovative. What do some of the dealers say about the great work that you do?
It's really interesting because for some it's a very uncomfortable thing to say, what do you mean I'm going to hand over that part of my business?
Right.
And we
Sure.
say, well, you're not handing it over. You actually are going to be facilitating it through one person now, or two people, or three core people. So you'll have the same communication, but instead of having to manage 15, 20 people, you're going to work with two or three on our team to facilitate the exact result you need. So once they realize that it works and that we're also very leadership heavy, it's always the same response. Why don't we do this sooner?
Mhm.
And of course, I can't say I was thinking the same thing, but it's really dramatic. They say, why did we wait? And I think what we've done a really good job of is not creating the us and them. It's very much the people that represent our mutual successes are outfitted in their uniform many of the times. Some people do want that degree of separation, but generally speaking, we are dressed representing the brands we service. And when they see that they haven't lost a beat, they're pretty happy. They're pretty happy. I mean, how would you guys feel getting an extra 10, 15 hours a week, freed up for you?
Right.
Pretty darn good. Okay.
And
Especially Ted.
yeah, and we don't focus much on this part, but what's interesting is that when you perform it and you look at the cost analysis, many people don't look at all the true costs. I'll give payroll as a great example.
Yeah.
Okay.
What does it cost now to run a payroll check?
Hmm.
And it's not $3.25 anymore.
Mhm.
You have all these bolted on HR manuals, all these different functions that you're paying for.
Mhm.
And oftentimes you're talking more like $16 a check.
Mhm.
Well, take that slightly intangible expense times 20 employees on 26 pays, and there's a dollar item there,
Oh,
not
yeah.
including the W-2 being sent out. So I share that with you because it's one of those intangibles that when you do the cost analysis for people and they see all the hidden costs of what they're not paying for anymore, uniforms, recruiting,
Uniforms.
payroll, and every now and again, a scratch bumper, every now and again. That's par for the course. But again, it's like anything else. It's how we handle it. And we recognize that's why they hired us. They hired us to let go of that stuff. So it's really interesting when you show them and they're like, but you're too expensive. I think you're going to find that we're not too expensive. I think you're going to find that we're going to be right about where you're at. And it's really neat when that works out.
And Bryan, in addition to the valet service, you do other things such as car wash, detailing. Tell us a little bit about that as well. That's fascinating.
It's really become a full suite of services.
Wow.
I'm really, really proud to say that historically, I think people in our field are really, really good at the hospitality side and really, really good at the detail side, but very few people can put them together.
Mhm.
And we have found a way to put them together really, really well. And we did that out of necessity. Many of our clients, beginning with the first one was AutoNation, who said, I just want to deal with you guys. I don't want to deal with any more vendors. Can you just do the details so I don't have to deal with anybody? I like your leadership. They're on site. I don't have to worry about stuff. Can you handle it? And that's how we got into the detail business. So there's an excellent, although they're very separate business lines, there's a lot of shared resources that people can benefit from because we can have that same site leadership sort of oversee both. And that equates to some really nice efficiency and savings for our clients. So detail's super cool. Last year, we launched Direct Hire, which is really, really fascinating. We are essentially professional recruiters. I mean, we are in the people business. And this is what we're doing all day, every day. So we decided to start testing what would happen if we started trying to fill some of those vacancies that our clients have, just in the background, and it's gone fantastic. Um, to us, we can offer it at a price that nobody else can touch, I don't think, because we're already doing it anyway. So we've tried to make it a real economy of scale again to say, here's another one-stop shop for you.
Wow.
It's really, really neat. Last year, almost a year ago to the day, we launched a lot wash here in the Phoenix market, launched a really fun lot wash concept that we call Dustbusters. And Dustbusters is a total play on Ghostbusters. If you see our logo, it's like it's a total
Okay.
play on. And we built this ridiculously cool looking truck that you could literally call like the Ecto one, just like the movie. It's really, really cool. And that was kind of how we do things. It's got to be fun, right? Like, it's not fun, don't do it. I will say the first 3 months of that business was not very fun. But after we got the hang of it and we realized that Arizona has horrible water and we need a lot more filtration than we thought, it's gone from what was 4 clients a year ago to 17 clients today. So
Wow.
really, really cool stuff. So point being is we see outside of our normal suite of services, greeters, service porters,
Okay.
sales porters. We do some courtesy driving. We do a little bit less offsite driving than we used to do, but obviously still pickup and delivery. There's still tons of it. They have us
Yes.
with parts drivers. They have with courtesy wash. They have us pretty much even some janitorial, some reception parts. We'll deliver parts for stores where they'll have their parts
Okay.
department, and then they'll have us run them out to the shop. So because we've been doing this for so long, and we're very, very open to trying new things and making sure that every solution fits our client, sky's the limit.
Brian, a lot of our dealers at the Fixed Ops Roundtable have, of course, their own identity for themselves, their groups. They have the big buzzword the last couple of years has been culture,
Mhm.
especially around their brand and a vision and core values. How do you, in your onboarding, how do you deal with that? How do you make sure that everybody is in alignment, as we say?
Two really, really nice concepts there. The first is that we have accepted we are essentially the minor leagues in many ways for our clients. So the greatest compliment, as long as they don't do it every week, is when one of our leaders is able to move up into the dealership. And what
Mhm.
that shows is we've done our job really, really well. That we've prepped our team,
Right.
and we prepped those leaders, and we prepped some of those leading employees, team members, to be considered by our clients. So we take that as a great compliment. As I said, every now and then it gets a little bit onerous where it's like, hey, we're going to have them start on Monday. And I'm like, today is Friday. So occasionally we have to pull it back a little bit, but that is a fantastic concept or compliment to us. So that's one piece. Secondarily is that inside of our world, a lot of times a dealer partner will announce to their people, hey, we made this decision to outsource. Oh no, not the outsource word. So we are continually ad nauseum saying, no, you're partnering with us. And yeah, we're not your business partners, but we're your partner in your client and guest experience. And what the porters and the detailers and the car washers and this whole team all of a sudden realize is that all we focus on is them. So many times these entry level positions, I mean, think about this for a second, please. Oftentimes, the least trained and least paid position at the dealer is providing the first and last impression.
Mhm.
So imagine you get them in the door and you do a great job, and the serve, all the complaints are resolved with the car, and the loaner
Yes.
comes back in one piece, the bill's paid, and you have somebody that says goodbye and doesn't get it right, just or doesn't leaves them waiting for 30 minutes, and that's just mean, right? And meaning that to lose all the good work at the
Yeah.
last tail end like that. So part of our culture is really saying, hey, you guys are number one in our books. You're not, that rotating position.
Yeah.
For those of you that want to make a career with us, we promote from within, continually moving you up the chain from supervisor to having your own location, and then to having 3 locations and sometimes an area. Pat Dreyer is one of my favorite stories. I mean, I don't know if you've had a chance to meet Pat, but he's our vice president
Right.
of operations, and
Okay.
he's a dynamite guy. But in 2013, January 3rd of 2013, he started with us, and just regular guy, kind of an assistant leader on the drive, and
Mhm.
today he's well on his way to mean, he's vice president. I mean, what can I say? Hopefully he takes my chair at one point. But those are the stories that are exciting, right? Where you see people whose lives has been really changed by their efforts and being recognized for the kind of work and dedication and heart. So I hope that paints a little bit of it. Sorry if it was a little long-winded.
No, I think it speaks volumes about your organization, uh, your people that you partner with or partner with you as well. And I have a question, Brian. When dealers come to you or find out about Alliance, typically, what are the circumstances that they come to you with? You mentioned how you got started, but are they, is it that one of their peers is using a similar hospitality type of a service, or again, how does that come about? What
Mhm.
does that look like?
Surprisingly, we get a lot of referrals. And one of the
Okay,
things
yeah,
that's interesting in the dealership business is a lot of people move around. And some of our core business has come from people moving through the industry. And the greatest compliment for us is to have that opportunity to work with people again and again and again. Excuse me. Usually, what we find, and this really was amplified during COVID, where the staffing shortages were just insane, and everybody was struggling,
Mhm.
and we were too, of course. But I think that feeling of when you talk to a recruiter, quote unquote, who also was vice president of the company, who's also been with us for almost 20 years, who's telling his story again of starting with a hospital in 2006. It was the day shift manager who is now, celebrating his 20th year with us.
well,
They say, okay, maybe this is a little different. Maybe there's something here that I'm not just an employee number. We were one of the very, very first people to introduce healthcare for our employees and to make it available.
wow,
That's obviously a little bit more challenging because dealerships don't play around with money, and we got to make sure we stay in budget. But we
yeah,
decided that it was absolutely a must that people would have the access to healthcare
wow,
one way or another. And so that was great. A few years ago, we launched the opportunity for people to start funding their IRAs in a way that's not top heavy and doesn't have, it really works. And those that want to start building their retirement can do it with us. So these are, I think, the things that show, hey, we're really interested in you guys succeeding. Let us, we want to facilitate you to the next point in your life. If you're with us for 3 or 4 years while you're going to college, or you decide, hey, I could move with these people, and I can make a profession with this team, and I can move to a
yeah,
new city and take on a new life. So anyway, we love that.
okay, all right.
Usually the dealer
Um,
system is broken. Sorry, Ted. They've got some breaks.
Yeah.
Big one is days to market on detailer. Sorry, I'm going on tangents, but days to market with detail is a big one. If they just
Mhm.
can't get those cars out, especially with interest rates where they are now.
Oh, yeah. That's
So
a huge
that,
frustration.
yeah. And the other thing is the guest experience. The manufacturers have made it clear that we want people treated really, really well, and they're going to make it financially well incentivized to make it well, right, for our clients, and so we can solve that for them.
I
That's
love it.
excellent.
Bryan Geoffrey, everybody. He's with a company called Alliance Dealer Solutions, and he started that company. And today, they are all over the United States. They're working with automotive dealers, as you hear, in the hospitality industry, elevating our game, elevating those first and last impressions. Bryan is the founder and CEO. Bryan, in closing today, if our audience wants to learn more, by the way, your story is fantastic, and
Oh, thank you.
you represent the company obviously extremely well. If our dealers would like to be represented as well on their front lines with these first impressions, what's the best way for them to ask questions of Alliance, get more information, and maybe find out more? Because I see this happening now more and more around the country, and I think you're really onto something. I know you are.
It's yeah. As I said, we've tripled down on this one in terms of this being our main segment. So the easiest way I recommend that everybody take a look at our website because it outlines those different services and ask yourselves, where does this fit into my world? And is this something that I don't want to deal with anymore? How can I find the experts at those first and last impressions, and how can I put different services together? Because everything we do is custom. So please visit our website at Alliance Dealer Solutions. Always please reach out to Brandon. Brandon is our absolute local
Yes.
expert on both detail and parking and hospitality. He's worked in every field of our business, up and down, from mitigating and managing claims to running the detail to hospitality training. So Brandon's an excellent source. And we're super easy. If you invite us out, we'll spend a day at your store, sometimes even 2 days at your store, taking apart your operations, and whatever we find is yours to keep. We just like to engage with people. We enjoy the camaraderie, and um, anybody that wants to invite us out, we'll absolutely go out and say hello and see if we can just give you some great suggestions.
Great.
Bryan, congratulations, and we look forward to more great things and hearing the story. And it speaks volumes today. So thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Bryan Geoffrey, everybody, with Alliance Dealer Solutions, here with us today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.